guys remember back in the day when all we did was ride our bike and make what I eat in a day videos? Those were the days. You guys see those people out there? I was ready to get into the water. They were like, and with tides like that, anytime you try to swim forward, the ocean's gonna pull you back in. You have to swim at an angle and swim sideways in order to get out. Stay in, buddy. Where have you gone to now? All the way up there, huh? All right, this time I'm gonna fuel up after a ride with some pasta and beans. Yummy, yummy. Yeah, so people wonder where I get my inspiration for all that I do here on YouTube. And most of it honestly comes from Sonic. I've been playing this game since 1990 something. Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening behind the scenes. I have a bunch of awesome podcasts that are coming out. A lot of great people that you probably recognize. Oh, I just lost all my rings. From different artists to medical doctors and just advocates of this movement. It's gonna be awesome. I'm super stoked about the whole podcast thing, but let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of the long form podcasting? Are you guys into that? Are you guys more into the shorter style videos that are broken down by topics? Let me know in the comments below. But today is a pretty exciting day. Today we are actually going to hang out with one of the awesome people that I'm gonna have on this podcast. You guys may or may not know him, but I think you're going to really enjoy what he's gonna have to say. So yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, this cat is on something. Oh, no worries. Dino, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, you as well.
Cool. Yeah, let me just unload my stuff here. Yeah. Dude, I'm digging the hair, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Well, this is you guys' studio, right?
Yep, audio compound.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess I should say, this is Neil, and he's from a little band called A Day to Remember.
These are the things that we've kind of worked on in this space. This is Jeremy and Andrew Wade. Jeremy's from our band, he's a singer. They built this studio and it's got multiple rooms. So this is Studio C.
Oh, wow.
Little control room in here. You can do all production and stuff. Over here is Studio A. This is the Studio A live room. So we do all the drums and...
So you guys do everything here, drums, guitars, vocals?
Yeah, piano, everything. All production is done here.
And you were saying you guys did your brand new record all in this studio here?
Yep, and this is Studio A. We did it all here in this room.
Dang, that's
so
awesome.
Your Welcome was recorded all here. We did it with a guy named Colin Britton. We brought it in and kind of set up and did it. And a little vocal booth here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeremy was right in there recording.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
And then over here, this is my room. This is my space.
Nice.
I just started doing production myself and starting a company called Unicorn Tones, where we make all of the guitar tones and Kemper profiles for bands that are touring, and they can use that little computer right there and bring like hundreds and hundreds of amps with them.
Nice.
And so that's what we do. We just kind of set up and make all those tones and stuff.
Do you work just with local bands here, or do you work with People around the country?
Anyone that right now, the only people that are using the tones are me personally, me and Kevin and Josh actually. It's a very new company. It's me, my guitar tech, and one other guy, and I literally bought this and took over this room to start doing that, and then kind of got into production on accident. And, I produced my Guitar Tech's album, and that was the first album we did here.
Right.
Yeah, it's a band called Night Expire. This is what we do.
Double door.
Yeah.
So you guys jamming here?
Yep.
Sweet.
Drums, all guitars and stuff, being loud.
Right. Got a window right there to monitor everything.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a mess because we're in between an album right now, but as soon as we wrap that album up, we can clean up and get everything back to normal. It's like, that's one of the things that when you're recording an album, everything kind of has to stay the same, so that if you need to go back and change something, it doesn't sound any different from the first time you did it.
Right. How's that album coming along?
Ours is almost done. We're we're finishing up the artwork, and we're finishing up getting the final mixes on all the songs done. So we're very close.
Dude,
very,
super stoked.
Yeah.
Statues.
All the statues. These are all things I went and collected everything that was cool to me, and they're all from different comics or different franchises. I got all the Star Wars. That's Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and then just everything else that kind of meant something to me. Silver Surfer, some Cause stuff, Yoda, the Batman, Joker.
Goku. I was super big Dragon Ball Z fan back in the day. That's awesome, man. Cool, man. Let's get started.
When I first met my wife, the story kind of begins with that. She was on tour with Blink. She was Travis Barker's chef, and we were opening for them. I thought she was beautiful, and I wanted to talk to her, and so I was like, "Hey, will you teach me how to cook?" And she's like, "Only if you're vegan." And I'm like, "Oh no, I can't do that." And she's like, "No, you can. It's not that hard." And I was like, "All right." I would still say 90% plant-based. It's really easy with my wife because she's an incredible chef, but anytime we eat together, it's all vegan stuff. So
when you first started going vegan, had you noticed any health benefits right away? Do you remember anything?
It was like a light switch was just flipped. As long as I'm trying my hardest to still eat plant-based, I can still feel good about it. I can still feel like I'm kind of making a positive difference. And that's the thing that I think a lot of times it's all or nothing for a lot of people, which is cool.
Right.
But for me, I'm as long as I'm the majority of the time I'm doing this, I still feel good about it.
Did you tour as vegan or plant-based?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was kind of tough in Europe. I feel like they are still kind of the 90s vegan, where it's quinoa everything and
vegetables.
Yeah, and which is cool.
Right.
I mean, because you probably get more nutrients that way. But we're doing the biscuit company here in Winter Park and offer more alternatives that can be yo, you can eat plant-based, you can eat vegan. It doesn't have to be just quinoa, or here's a salad or french fries, whatever, it doesn't have to be like that. That's a big thing for the Day to Remember, is we're big into food. I think it's been a dream of a couple of ours to kind of own a restaurant or a bar. I'll get everyone to go eat plant-based every once in a while. It's pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, a lot of people in our crew are vegan. Our sound guy's vegan. Our monitor guy's vegan. Our drum tech, he eats plant-based probably 60% of the time.
Wow.
My guitar tech, the guy who I'm doing their album, his name's Max. He was vegan for almost 2 years with me. Once you do it for a little bit, you start doing it for different reasons. In the beginning, I did it for health reasons, and I'm yeah, I'll try to get healthy. And then I was man, I feel really good that I'm not eating animals,
right,
or using any of these products, or supporting factory farming and all that stuff. And I'm okay, cool, I can get behind this. And then that's why I kept doing it. So having those people on our crew and stuff like that, and then having the dudes in the band that are willing to go to those restaurants and stuff like that.
Just want to say, dude, A Day to Remember, one of my favorite freaking bands.
I was 15 years old when I joined A Day to Remember, so I was
freaking baby.
Yeah.
That's what you were. Where does like A Day to Remember come from? How did that name pop up?
It was actually that Joe Barnes was his name. He came up, his girlfriend at the time came up with the name for the band. And then when he was in the band took on that name, but then he got kicked out because he never played a full show. And so the band just kept the name. And it's just kind of about, it's about that time. It's about being a kid, going to shows, and just making those memories and like having that escape from everything else. You know, it's like, this could be in A Day to Remember, you know, like, let's make this a day to remember. Like, it's about doing things that you will remember and doing things that are important to you and going to shows and kind of creating those memories that will last forever. Like, I know that like some of the first shows I ever went to, and I could probably tell you every instance of exactly what happened during the day because I was so excited about it. It's all I could think about, you know. And it's about creating those instances and those experiences for people everywhere, you know, like the stuff that we grew up with and the stuff that we still experience, you know, like we still go to shows now and we're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, such a good feeling, man.
Yeah.
For sure. I still feel like a kid, like a high school kid, like rocking out at shows, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome. That feeling never dies. But
that's what it is. Like in so many words, like I'm not so eloquent, but
one of my favorite songs by you guys is actually Right Back at It Again.
Yeah.
Because it's that story. It's like where you guys came from to where you are now. And one of the lyrics from it, and I hope like I don't butcher it, it's, you guys left home with no kind of backup plan, and everybody that you knew that you couldn't stand said, if you can't make it here, you won't make it there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you, like, what are some of the things you guys heard, you know, that were a little bit discouraging when you guys first started out that kind of made you think, well, should we keep going? Are they right or are we right?
It was because our band was like mixing all these genres and everyone was like, why are you doing that? Like, don't do that. Like, that's not, no one wants that, you know? In the beginning, no one understood what we were doing. Like, no one understood that we had all these influences and it was super eclectic for us. And that we were just trying to fit in all of these different places. That was us, though. Like, we were finding ourselves in that process. Like, we were like, we love going to hardcore shows and moshing, and we like going to pop punk shows and singing along and whatever. And we liked it all. And it wasn't like we were this type of person. No, we were like, no, we are, all of this is us. Like, we are all of it, you know? And why we were successful is we didn't have a backup plan. It was all in from the beginning. And we were lucky enough to have found each other, that were 5 of us, to be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do, and we're going to do it no matter what. Blink-182 especially, their music was an escape from my life. Like, when I was growing up, my parents got divorced, and it was like really tough for me to deal with, and kind of moving into a new household with my stepfather and kind of coming into this, being a man and growing up in this environment that was constantly changing. Like, I could go to their music and skateboarding and guitar and escape and just kind of like find my own place and like find my own thing. That's all that mattered, was the band, music, joking around and having a good time. And so that shaped me as a person. Like, I'm always making jokes, always trying to make light of these heavy situations and dark situations or whatever, and then not letting that be too serious.
Right. And
how you deal with that, and then moving on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like loving what you do. I mean, it's the only way to sustain this passion. Because I mean, if you always try to be serious and you're not having fun with it, eventually you burn out. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you guys, like, they remember, have a really healthy relationship with each other. I'm sure you guys have a good time, like, being around each other. So that's awesome.
Communication is everything. Being able to talk to your friends about hard situations is everything. It's what saved our band from breaking up many times, is like, we've had those hard conversations, and those conversations are never as hard as what it's like to have to not have that person in your life anymore, or to not have the band around anymore. You know, like it's always easier to have those hard conversations and communicate when it feels like you shouldn't or you don't want. That song Resentment is about the emotion of resentment. It's kind of like paranoia. It's kind of like once the feeling of resentment comes on, it comes on like a wildfire. And so that's what the lyrics are about in the chorus especially. And so it's like once it happens, it takes over, it's consuming. It's like, and how the song's about how you deal with that and how it affects you. It happens in those situations where you have to lift yourself out of the situation or else it's going to consume you. But then sometimes you can't control it. And there's a part in the music video where he gets hit with this beam, and that's the feeling of resentment, like taking over. And then everything kind of catches on fire and it burns everything down. And the feeling of resentment, it hurts more than just you. It affects everyone around you. It affects the other person in the situation that you feel that feeling towards, you know, like, and it goes back to communication where you got to dissolve those things and you got to fix them as they're happening, or else it leads to this thing that will burn down everyone around you and it affects everything. You want to, I have, I don't know if you like Topo Chico. I'm going to grab one.
What is it?
Yeah, Topo Chico. It's like sparkling water, but there's something about like the bubbles. They're bigger and it's more stingy. It's got more sting.
Yeah, I'll give it a little swig, man.
Yeah. Cheers.
Good. Thanks so much. Like, there's no space on my phone for like cheap music, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, so much of the stuff out now, it's like absolutely garbage.
It really is.
But I'm coming back here or I'm going to Cali. One of the two. Like, I can't stand winters anymore, dude.
I don't blame you.
Done.
I don't blame you.
I'm done.
I grew up in Florida, and so we go on tour and I'm just like, I can't.
Oh, really?
I'm like this good, is man. Cool for like a fucking like a however long, but I'm like, I gotta go fucking.
I wasn't sure if homesick was like it meant something else, or you're literally like homesick and you're missing Florida.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now that is a mobile home. That actually wouldn't be too bad. You could have a bike back there and ride around eating a bunch of vegan restaurants from town to town, you know, like vegan hobo. Just picked up an acai bowl here. I had a little veggie wrap at a small shop here in Flagler Beach, and well, I thought this would be the perfect way to end a good meal. I miss Florida. Like, how epic is that? Look at that down there. Man, it was so good connecting with my buddy Neil. Just talked about a bunch of great topics. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but do something today. Take a little bit of your time out of your day. Do something today that's gonna push you forward to pursuing your goal, your dreams. Do something today that'll make you happy. Say that you tell someone that you love them. Drop any resentment that you have. Also, get negative people out of your life. Learn a new skill. Help somebody in need. Feed the hungry. Make someone laugh. Move your body. Eat a healthy diet. Listen to a podcast. Inspire someone. Be inspired. Go out and meet your heroes. Go to a concert. Be creative. Spend some time with someone you care about. Go and travel. See the world. See new places. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for others. Be part of a cause. Apologize to someone. Just do something that will make you happy. Make today and every single day for the rest of your life a day to remember. Pretend like this is the last day that you will ever have. Is that how you want to leave it? Make today a day to remember. That's it. That's all I had to say. Check out my buddy Neil's band, A Day to Remember. I'll have their links in the description down below. Awesome band, great messages, great music. Let me know what else you guys want to see from me. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.